that the West has come to have a different understanding about Kashmir. It's because of the geopolitical equations of the region with the rest of the world. After 1947, India was seen as an ally of Soviet Union, and Pakistan was quick enough to ally with the US. And as a result, I would say that US did not look at India favorably, because India was always as a suspect that India is going to promote the communist agenda, and India will be the next communist colony in this region. So India was not seen favorably up till a long time. In fact, till economic liberalization happened, which happened in 1990. So uh, so when that happened, slowly geopolitics changed. But India was very, very slow in understanding Pakistan's game in Kashmir after having experienced Pakistan's game in Punjab, where they propped up Khalistanis, where they sponsored Khalistani terror. So I would really blame the Indian bureaucracy, the Indian state, for neglecting what Pakistan was doing to Jammu and Kashmir, for what Pakistan was doing in the rest of the world, and creating this false fake narrative about Kashmir, that India is the oppressor and Pakistan is this righteous state, which is really peaceful, and it has nothing. Uh, it was, after all, an ally of the US in uh, throwing out Russia out of Afghanistan. So Pakistan was in a very good spot, except that September 11 happened, and that's when Pakistan got exposed. That's when Pakistan's support to terrorism. That's when the very fact that Pakistan is the epicenter of global terror became apparent to the world. Until that point, nobody in the world really believed what India was saying about Pakistan. But by that time, India had lost its narrative on Kashmir. India did not highlight the story of the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits. India did not highlight the story of massacre of Kashmiri Muslims committed by Kashmiri Muslim terrorists and Pakistani terrorists. So, whose responsibility was it? It was the responsibility of Indian intellectuals. It was the responsibility of Indian media. It was the responsibility of Indian politicians. But none of them showed any interest, because the way Indian state was. And I would say it was a very weak state for a very long time. It was only, I think, Indian state has shown its mettle and strength only after the economic reforms that Narasimha Rao, Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, brought. So I would say that the West will continue to play those games, because now I want to bring in the historical players in the region. So many people think that Kashmir is only a post 1947 problem, because Pakistan wanted Jammu and Kashmir because it's a Muslim majority state, and that is why Pakistan wanted it. But the story goes even further back in time. Jammu and Kashmir, of course, is a Muslim majority state, but it's not. It's not because it's a Muslim majority state that international players were interested in it. It's because Jammu and Kashmir's geographical location is very peculiar. It is at the heart and the center of several boundaries and different civilizations. Um, on the left, you have the Chinese, not really Chinese, but Tibetans. But Tibet got occupied, Tibet was annexed by Chinese. And on the right side, On the so when I mean left, I meant on your east you have Chinese, Tibetans occupied by Chinese, and on your west you have Pakistan, and of course Afghanistan, and then the route to Central Asia. Before 1947, when the British were in control of this region as colonial rulers, the fear was that Russia, which was the one of the not one of the but the biggest empire of its time, that Russia's influence was to be contained. That was the thinking of the British colonial rulers, and for that they saw, Jammu and Kashmir as a buffer, because British were ruling India, and they saw J&K as a buffer. And once the partition happened, Pakistan was created. They did not really trust Nehru, who was the first Prime Minister of India, for him to really pursue their geopolitical goals and geopolitical interests. They did not see Nehru pursuing the anti-Soviet line in the region, because Nehru was ideologically and emotionally uh, aligned and far more in tune with the Soviet Union, with the communists, with the Marxists than the capitalists, because India, at the end of the day, India had suffered colonial rule because of the East India Company's capitalism. They entered the Indian subcontinent through capital. I would say it was crony capitalism and neo capitalism. So they did not trust Nehru. Therefore, in a way, they created the dispute of Jammu and Kashmir way before anybody got to know that J&K was going to become a dispute. Now, one would say that how did it become a dispute? Well, it became a dispute because Pakistanis who tried to invade Jammu and Kashmir in 1947, they were helped by the British military officers in that invasion of Jammu and Kashmir. They captured Gilgit Baltistan, they captured Pakistan occupied Kashmir with the help of British military officers in the region, in Gilgit Baltistan, in fact. So that's how this dispute has come into existence. And that is why the British line, that is why the European line, and that is why the NATO members line on Kashmir has been a line which is essentially aligned to the line of Pakistan rather than India, because it has a long history of geopolitical interests. We do know that Soviet Union does not exist today. It got USSR got disintegrated um, 30 years ago or so. But at the end of the day, we have to also take into account that Afghanistan remains a problem in the region. Pakistan remains a problem in the region, and not only for this region now, they are a problem for the rest of the world, especially the West. We also know that Chinese now are a huge threat, not only to India, but the rest of the world. Now we have entered into Cold War situation 2.0 between the US and China now. But with the new presidency in the US, we don't know how. I think under President Trump, we did see that Cold War 2.0 was accelerating, and we knew that in India was going to be a major player in that Cold War. We don't know how it is going to pan out under President Biden, but we do know that Kashmir will remain an interest, a geopolitical interest for various power players, because if you really look at what China has done in the region, it is gone, and it's trying to build a China-Pakistan economic corridor, and it starts through the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It is blocking India's access to the which Pakistan had already, but we don't know how things will shape up. So China is blocking access of India to Central Asia and to Afghanistan. Earlier, Pakistan was. Now, not only that, but China's attempt to access the oceans, the Arabian Ocean, which is basically Indian Oceans on the west of Indian Ocean. So we know that China remains a power player, Pakistan remains a power player, but also the US and the rest of the world is also a power player in the region. So Kashmir is not going to get sorted out completely, because unless Kashmiris understand that they are sitting geographically at a very unique position, and they must stay out of it, they must shun violence, they must not be a part of this geopolitical game of world powers. I don't think it's going to be an easy thing for them.
Right. I think thank you for sort of laying out all of the different geopolitics around it. It's very fascinating, and I think a lot of geopolitics itself is undergoing a lot of churn, especially I think in this particular year.
Namaste. We hope you enjoyed this Chitti Media content. Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.